Good morning, dear students. So we proceed with the reading of this chapter, The Adventure by Jayant Narlikar. So yesterday we read that Gangadhar Pant observed a presidential chair unoccupied in the Azad Maidan, where there was a you can say crowd was gathering, and as per the rule of this one, all the listener, all the crowd people, they want the chair vacant. Which chair vacant? The chief guest or the main chair or the presidential chair must be vacant. They did not want to be led by anybody. Okay, but our hero Gangadhar Pant or Professor Gaitonde could not control himself and went to the stage and started speaking like this, like, ladies and gentlemen, an unchaired lecture is like Shakespeare's Hamlet without the Prince of Denmark. Okay, as I told you yesterday also that Gangadhar Pant completed 999 meeting or 999 speeches in his life, and this one was going to be the 1000th one. Okay, so anyhow, without bothering the words of speaker and the controller of stage, he went on the stage, but later he faced a great trouble, like facing the tomatoes, potatoes, and some other thing on his body, and lastly he was removed from the stage. So that happened at Azad Maidan. Got it? We discussed this one by the last point of yesterday's lecture. Now, today, uh, as we got to know, he spent 2 days in another world. Another world is means an imaginative world. But as he come back in practical world, so we will read today what happens with him in his real world. Like, that is all I have to tell Rajendra. Rajendra who the? Rajendra. Okay, his friend. So he told everything to his friend Rajendra. All I knew is that I was found in the Azad Maidan in the morning. See, in this previous part, we got to know that he was removed from the stage in Azad Maidan in public gathering. But as he came in his conscience, he was found in the Azad Maidan next morning. But I was back in the world I am familiar with. Means he came back in the real world. Now, where exactly did I spend those 2 days when I was absent from here? Now he questions himself, where did I spend these 2 days? In which world? Rajendra was dumbfounded by the narrator. Okay, Rajendra was dumbfounded means unable to speak because of surprise. Dumbfounded means stark surprise. His friend was totally surprised to listen all his words or stories that he spent 2 days in another world. It took him a while to reply. He replied like, Professor, before just prior to your collision with the truck. Collision means accident with the truck. What were you doing? His friend Rajendra asked a question. Before the accident, what were you doing? Rajendra asked to his friend Professor Gaitonde. What were you doing? What were you thinking like that? So I was thinking of the catastrophe theory and its implications for history. Then he told his friend Rajendra that before meeting this accident, actually, dear children, he spent 2 days unconsciously in another world just after an accident of his car with a truck. So before the accident, or just before the accident, he was thinking about catastrophe theory. Got it? And its implication means applications. Right, I thought so, Rajendra smiled. Then he got, okay, that is the reason. Then he got the point. Rajendra got the point. Okay, that is the reason why you visited the another world. Don't smile smugly. In case you think, it that the thing that it was just my mind playing tricks and my imagination running amok. Look at this. What he is holding. Amok means full of surprise again. So why are you thinking that I just like play trick? I'm not playing trick. This Pandey says this. Look at this. And triumphantly Professor Gaitonde produced his vital piece of evidence. What is the piece of evidence? The paper. The paper or the torn pages that he took from the town hall's library in his pocket. The book name was Bhau Sahibanchi Bhakar. A page torn out of a book, which was the Bhau Sahibanchi Bhakar, and the page that contains the information or the description that Abdali was defeated and Maratha won the battle. Then Rajendra read the text on the printed page. His friend read the same, sentences, three sentences, and his face underwent a change. He also got surprised. Gone was the smile. Earlier he was smiling. Okay, now there is no smile, and its place came a grave expression. Grave means dead expression. Means to read out the lines of the pages that Deshpande produced to his friend Rajendra. He got surprised to read these lines. He was visibly moved. He was shaken up. Rajendra was shaken up. Then Gangadhar Pant pressed home his advantages. I had inadvertently slipped the bhakar in my pocket. Then he told, I put bhakar. Bhakar means the pages of the Bhau Sahibanchi Bhakar book in my pocket as I left the library. As I left this library, which library? The library which was located in town hall. I discovered my error. Error means mistake when I was paying for my meal. When he paid for his, meal, food, I had intended to return it to the next morning. What happens? Means to say, Rajendra Deshpande tore these pages from the book to go through the pages at home, and next morning he planned to return these books, these pages in the same book in the same library. But it seems that in the melee of Azad Maidan, okay, in the melee of Azad Maidan, the book was lost. In the great crowd of Azad Maidan, the book was lost. Which crowd? Where he spoke something on the stage, from where he was removed by the public, and he was seen no more. Only this torn off page remained. Means to say, Deshpande wanted to return these pages of the book to the library, but he lost that book in the crowd of Azad Maidan, and he had only these pages in his pocket. And luckily for me, the page contains vital evidence, and he is fortunate that he contained all these important proof of showing that the history has taken a different turn. Thereafter, Rajendra again read the page. It described how Vishwas Rao narrowly missed the bullet. Okay, as per the book read by Rajendra Deshpande, it described that the bullet crossed very closely to Vishwas Rao ear, and how that event taken as an omen by the Maratha army, and how it was a good sign, omen means good sign of becoming victory or becoming victor for Maratha family, turned the tide in their favor, and this bullet changed the complete game in their side, Maratha's side. Now look at this. Gangadhar Pant produced his own copy of Bhau Sahebanchi Bhakar. Okay, he opened that pages, opened at the relevant page. The account ran thus, and the same line which we read yesterday, I just show you. And then Vishwas Rao guided his horse, and in the same way, and then Vishwas Rao guided his horse. Okay, the same sentences which he read himself, and later he produced the same sentences before his friend Rajendra. Okay, so these particular sentences, they are the same. Thereafter, as his friend Deshpande, Rajendra Deshpande, read out these sentences, he really thought that history had taken a great or different turn, but reality was totally opposite to it. Professor Gaitonde, you have given me food for thought. Rajendra told him that you have given me something to think on or think upon. Until I saw this material evidence, I had simply put your experience down to fantasy. It means, without observing this piece of paper, I thought that you are just doing a fantasy. Fantasy means imagination. But facts can be stranger than fantasies, as I am beginning to realize. Then Rajendra accepted this thing, that I accept this fact, and this is more important than your imagination or fantasies. Facts, he questioned. What are the facts? This Pandey asked, what are the facts? I am dying to know. Let me know this, Professor Gaitonde said. What are the facts? He asked this question to Rajendra. Then Rajendra motioned him to silence and started pacing the room. He made him silence, and they moved to the room, obviously under great mental strain. Strain means change. Okay, strain means change. Then finally he turned around and said, Professor Gaitonde, I will try to rationalize your experience on the basis of two scientific theories. Dear children, what are these two scientific theories? First one, catastrophic theories, and second one is quantum theory. So, Rajendra hereby declared these two theories to his friend Professor Gaitonde, and he also tries to imply these theories on his visit to the another world. Basis of two different theories as known today. Okay, whether I succeed or not in convincing you of the fact, only you can judge. It means Rajendra said that whether you get it confirmed done from your side, it's just depend on you. You can judge, you can assess. For you have indeed passed through a fantastic experience. You have gone through, you have experienced a fantastic one or more correctly, a catastrophic experience. Catastrophic means changing, great change. Thereafter, please continue, Rajendra. Professor says, Rajendra, please continue. Keep on telling me. Okay, keep on telling me. I am all ears. I am all means I am listening you very attentively. Professor Gaitonde replied. Rajendra continued pacing as he talked. In the room, Rajendra was walking, pacing means walking, and he was talking to Professor Gaitonde and telling him each and every theory like catastrophic as well as quantum theory. You have heard a lot about the catastrophe theory at that seminar. Okay, we know that he has attended 1000 seminar, including his last seminar at Azad Maidan. Let us apply it to the Battle of Panipat. Now, Rajendra said, let's apply this catastrophe theory on the Battle of Panipat. Wars fought face to face on open grounds. It's reality. All kind of wars, they are being fought face to face in open grounds, offer excellent example of this theory. This theory means catastrophe theory. The Maratha army was facing Abdali's troops means soldiers. Okay, army, right or not? Maratha's army was facing Abdali's army on the field of Panipat. That's right. There was no great disparity between the latter's troops and the opposite forces. Means hardly there was difference between both the armies. Both the armies, they were equal in their strength and in their crowd or in their number of soldiers or power, you can say. Their armor was comparable. Okay, armor means the strength of army somehow. So a lot depended on the leadership and the morale of the troops. So what was the difference? That it was the victory was dependent. The winnership was dependent on the leadership and morale boosting. Only two aspects they were hidden. Two were the main aspects, important parts. The junker at which Vishwas Rao, the son of an heir of Peshwa, Vishwas Rao, was killed, proved to be the turning point. Now Rajendra explained. The death of Vishwas Rao proved to be the turning point. The death of Vishwas Rao was a turning point in this fight of Battle of Panipat, and as history has it, his uncle Bhau Sahib rushed into the mill and was never seen again. And as Vishwasrao was dead, his uncle also rushed means gone away, run away, and never seen again. Whether he was killed in the battle or survived is not known. Means whether his uncle Bhau Sahib was killed in the battle or he was alive, nobody knows. But for the troops at this particular moment, that blow of losing their leaders was crucial. But right now, while the battle was going on, and to lose the leader was very crucial part for Maratha, was very important for Maratha, not only for Marathas but also for every army. If its you can say leader is dead, then nobody can lead the army to the respective destination or the aim. So in the same way, Bhau Sahib and Vishwasrao, both of them, they were out of the fight. One was dead and second ran away. They lost their morale. Who lost their morale? Maratha. I just told you two things were important: leadership and morale. So one thing, morale was down of Maratha. They lost their morale and fighting spirit. There followed an utter rout. And there followed an utter rout. Utter rout means complete defeat. And what was the complete defeat, and for what? It was a complete defeat for Maratha, or for Maratha it was utter rout. Utter means completely, or rout means defeat. Okay, then exactly, professor. Now, professor, exactly, professor, and what you have shown me on that torn page is the course taken by the battle. Course means passage of the time taken by the battle of Panipat, when the bullet missed Viswasrao. When the bullet missed Viswasrao, a crucial event gone the other way. Crucial means important. Event means the happening of the death of Viswasrao, but fortunately he was saved. And its effect on the troops was also the opposite. The effect of this particular event was opposite. It boosted their morale and provided just that extra impetus that made extra impetus that made all the difference, Rajendra said. And this is only the stimulus means this impetus means encouragement that change the complete scenario, because morale can play or always play a good role to make the things happen positively. So this one is said by Rajendra, and he proved his point. Okay, so dear students, till today we stop here. Keep on reading and try to understand. I hope you have got the idea what happens in reality with the Professor Gaitonde and Rajendra Prasad. How did he explain the theory of catastrophe? Okay, thank you. Have a good day.